yeah! In this video, we're going to go over two word problems. In part one, a word problem dealing with temperature and a literal equation. And in word problem two, something that deals with your hourly rate as you get a job and using that, formula to your advantage. Okay, so let's check out this word problem. You were told the formula F equals 9/5 C plus 32 converts the temperature in Celsius C to the temperature in Fahrenheit F. So what does all that mean? What that means is if I plug in a temperature that is measured in centigrade or Celsius, degrees Celsius, and then I do out this math, I will get out the temperature in Fahrenheit. It's a conversion, right? It converts from Celsius to Fahrenheit. We are told solve this equation for C, then use the result to find what 86 degrees Fahrenheit is in Celsius. So it's kind of a word problem, but there's no translation because you're being told what to do. So we're going to solve this equation for C. So let's do exactly what we're being told to do. So I'm told F is equal to 9/5 C plus 32. So we are going to isolate C because we're told to solve for it. So to isolate for C, I need to first undo plus 32. Ignore the fact that this is not a number over here. You don't care about that. You want to undo the order of operations. So I undo plus 32 by subtracting 32 on both sides. Now, the plus 32 and minus 32 is what you currently care about. It goes to 0. That's great. On the other side, we have F minus 32. You cannot simplify that. It's an open expression, so we're going to leave it as F minus 32. And that might bother some of you, and that's okay. But we'll leave it as is because our goal is to isolate for C, and we're getting there. Now, we want to undo a fraction times a variable. Don't worry about this. Focus only on fraction times variable. How do I undo a fraction times a variable? I multiply by the reciprocal, so that would be 5/9. So I'm going to multiply by 5 over 9, and what I do to one side of an equation, I must do to the entirety of the other side. So I'm going to put parentheses because I'm multiplying the whole side of the equation by 5/9 to keep things balanced. Ooh, that looks nasty. But here's the important part. The 9's divide out, leaving 1. The 5's divide out, leaving 1, meaning C has now been isolated. So we get C on the right side, which is what we wanted to solve for. And then we get this nasty expression, 5/9 times F minus 32. But we know we're done. As gross as that left side looks, we have isolated C using legal math means. Very cool. A reminder, we ignored the fact that we could not simplify the left side and we focused only on isolating C. Now on to the second part of this word problem. It said, we want to find what 86 degrees Fahrenheit is in Celsius, and that's exactly what solving this equation does. It reversed everything. It now converts from Fahrenheit to Celsius. The old one converted from Celsius to Fahrenheit. So if I have that 86 degrees Fahrenheit is my temperature, what this problem is really just telling you to do is it's saying evaluate for F equals 86, right? Because that is the temperature in Fahrenheit. And when I plug it in and simplify using our formula that we just made, we will get a degrees of Celsius, right? So I'll plug it in. I get 5/9 times 86 minus 32. And now I just need to simplify using my order of operations, being patient with it. 86 minus 32 is going to be 54. So I get 5/9 times 54 is what I get out of those parentheses. Next, I'm going to simplify 5/9 times 54. If it helps, you can put it over 1. 9 goes into itself once and into 54 6 times. That's the GCF, and that's helping us a lot because now we can multiply across. 5 times 6 is 30 over 1, so it's just 30. So C is equal to 30 degrees Celsius. What that means is 86 degrees Fahrenheit is 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Sorry, I said that wrong. 86 degrees Fahrenheit is 30 degrees Celsius. I got so excited I confused up my units. All right, there you have it, peeps. On the other side of this video, we are going to have a second word problem that goes over a similar idea just to kind of drive this home. Hopefully this really helped you. I know the next word problem will as well. Stay tuned for it. All right, here we are on the other side of the video where we are going to solve one more word problem involving literal equations. And I use the word problem kind of loosely here because you're kind of being told what to do. But the hard part is actually the algebra, or the challenging part. But you're going to get through it, and we're going to do it together. This says you make $15 per hour as a lifeguard at your apartment's pool. given the formula T equals 15H. Okay, so that's a pretty important formula, where H is the number of hours you work, so we're being told H is how many hours you work, and T is the total money you earn. We're going to solve for H. So all of those words in those 4 lines, and we need to solve for H. So I'm going to write out the equation here to give us some fresh room. 15H. Then it says, use your result to figure out how many hours you need to work to earn $195. We'll get to that second part in a moment. So first things first, we need to solve for H. Well, how do we do that? Well, we look at this equation, we want to isolate H, so we're going to undo what's being done to it. Well, H is being multiplied by 15, so I will multiply, just kidding, I will divide by 15 on both sides. So again, H was being multiplied by 15. We undo that by dividing by 15 on both sides. The 15s divide out, and we're left with H is equal to T over 15. Having isolated H, we know that we've solved for it. So all of that is now done. Then we're told, use your result to figure out how many hours, H is what we want to find out, you need to work to earn $195. Well, the total amount of money you earned is T. T is the total money you earn. That's the whole point of all of these words here, is to make very certain that you understand what T stands for and what H stands for. So there's not a lot of thinking, it's just a lot of categorizing what these variables mean. So now from here, I need to solve for H when T is 195. So that's what this means. So they're basically telling you T equals 195. So we're going to plug that in for T, or evaluate it in. So 195 over 15, using the formula we've now solved, will give us the amount of hours H. 195 divided by 15 is, I believe, 13. So that's going to be 13 equals H. So you need to work for 13 hours to get to that goal of $195. There you have it, folks. A couple of word problems that are really all about the algebra and are showing you that really the whole point of literal equations is so that we can learn to solve a formula or an equation for another variable to make the usefulness of that equation different, to apply to what we need it for. So with the degrees Fahrenheit and Celsius, if you wanted to convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit or Fahrenheit to Celsius, we needed different equations. If you wanted to find the number of hours you needed to work again and again, we'd rather solve once rather than plugging in for H again and again and again and then solving again and again. Very useful, very important. Go rock some literal equations.